Awesome. Okay.
Testing, testing. All right, looking good.
To our window.
Looking good on my side.
I put the time around 10, so. Not sure if anybody's going to log in or not on this one, but I'll put it out there if they wanted to. Hello and welcome to a special little interim episode of StreetPX, where we're going to look back on 2017. It is, episode 56, January 19th. I am Casper, and joined at the mic is my good friend,
as always, Jim Watkins, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, great. I know me and you have been talking about doing this episode for a little bit, and I think we've promised it about 3 times now, and each time we keep pushing it back.
Man, life happens, man, I tell you.
It does. And it's funny, wintertime is usually like the kind of slow period, but no, it has been absolutely batshit for me. I don't know about you. But.
Oh, same thing for me, man. It is going crazy, but in a good way, I have to say.
Yeah. You never, ever complain about work.
Yep, that's right.
So yes, everyone out there, welcome back. I want to kind of really quick start out with a little love to our sponsor, of course, Glass Key Photo. That is your one-stop shop for all things analog photography. My words don't seem to be working today.
It's still early.
It is. It's too early. Yeah. But yes, Glass Key Photo. These guys, I just want to kind of change things up a little bit. Maybe that's why my words weren't working, because I want to give a special thank you to Glass Key, because as the first thing I want to bring up for 2017, that's when we got our first sponsor. Mm-hmm. And that was one hell of a change there, because that allowed us to put a little bit of scratch back into the show, helping us with the bandwidth and with our Adobe Audition for editing all of these episodes and these kind of things. These things are not cheap. So the help that Gordon and Matt over there at Glass Key, by having faith in our show and wanting to kind of lock in with us, has helped us tremendously. So from all of us here at StreetPX, big thank you.
Thank you, man. Matt and Gordon, man, you guys are great. Yeah. And speaking of looking back on 2017, they made a big move that year.
They did.
Yeah.
I got to watch that happen. I know, Jim, you got to kind of bounce back and forth between the two buildings there.
Yeah,
before
that's
and
right.
after.
Yep. So they moved closer to downtown. I don't know if that's technically downtown San Francisco where they are, but they moved from the Haight district closer into the center of the city. So
would that be Midtown?
It could be. It's not quite the Tenderloin.
Right.
Although they may be thinking it is, but
right. It's like right there on the edge.
Yeah, right there on the edge.
It's quite impressive how much extra room they have. And I know, we've talked about this on other episodes, but this is our look back show. This is our reminisce. And I remember their old one. What was it? It was last year. 2016, when they had the break-in too. Remember that?
Right. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That somebody smashed in their front window and just kind of clean them out of a lot of analog gear and everything. And but what's awesome about the photo community is photographers and appreciators and just friends and family and people that know of Glass Key stepped up, and they did a GoFundMe, I think it was, and was able to raise enough money to get back on their feet a hell of a lot faster than they would have just kind of like relying on insurance or luck.
That's right.
Yeah,
a lot of love in the community for them.
Yes, there is. And it's a staple store. I mean, it is the standard if you want analog work or analog repairs, anything like that. That's where you go. Now, they are located at 1230 Sutter Street, right off Van Ness, open 7 days a week. That's the other thing that impresses me. There's 2 guys that run the place, and they're open 7 days a week.
I don't know how they do it, man.
Yeah, I mean, you go downtown and you see there's stores that have 30 employees or whatever from the top down, but nope, they're closed on weekends or what have you. This is a store with 2 people, so maybe that's either obsession or that's they're stuck there by some weird magical
they just love what they do, man. And that's something you would do 7 days a week. I mean, like
damn straight.
You wouldn't mind having a camera in your hand for 7 days, man.
Nope.
Yeah,
nope.
there you
give
go.
me a camera or give me this podcast and I'll mix it up throughout 7 days. I'll just keep on going.
There you go. There you go.
So go take a look at that store. Go say hello to Matt and Gordon for us, and just again, thank you guys, and we look forward to our continued partnership here through 2018.
Yeah, thanks, Glass Key.
So what do you want to start with? What do you want to start with talking about from 2017?
Well, the great thing about the podcast is we meet so many people going through there. They talk to so many people, discuss, we learn and everything. And one of the things I know we were talking about, looking back at some of our favorite episodes of 2017. So what was yours, or what were some of yours, or what?
Want to throw it out to me first?
Yeah, throw it out to you, man.
Favorite episode. See, that's
hard to say.
That's such a loaded word. Favorite episode. It's like your favorite kid. Even though I think the reality is everybody's got a favorite kid, they just don't admit it.
Yeah, that's right.
It's bad for the psyche.
That's right.
My selection's got to be a bit odd because it wasn't necessarily just the show that made it my favorite. It was kind of what happened afterward. Is T.C. Lynn. I love that episode. It was a long episode. We had bonus material and stuff, but that was because after you had signed out. I think that was kind of late into the evening,
right,
that recording, because TC, he's on the other side of the world.
Yeah. That's right. He's in Taiwan. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So in spite of that, we had, what was that, like a 14-hour time difference?
Yeah.
And that's always tricky. And that's one of the things that we had to learn as we went along is working with these remote interviews and talking with these artists that are not here in the United States, because we don't see StreetPX as being a exclusively United States podcast. There's photographers all around this globe that are amazing, that have stories to tell and backgrounds that are highly inspirational. And when we first talked to TC there at Street Photo, he was all for it, but trying to lock in those times. Anyway, after we had signed off, or after we had kind of like cut the recording, me and him kept talking for another like 3 hours. And if there's anybody out there that knows TC or have ever met TC is a man of not many words. It's very well selected words when he talks. So having that opportunity, I felt like I got like an entire year's conversation out of him. It was amazing.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's fantastic to have those kind of interactions. Outside of the mic.
And that I think that was the part that it was it really made it kind of my favorite, is because I just got to connect and learn more about him and what he's experiencing over there in his home. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that goes mine. How about you?
Well, you know what, mine is similar to what you say, along the same vein. It's what happens, either before or after we get these guests on the mic. One of my favorite shows, along those lines, was the one with Chase Stevens, where we had that broadcast with him, in the wake of the Las Vegas tragedy, the shootings, the massacre, to say the least. That he was there, and he recounted his role in that incident, and which was fascinating. It was just compelling listening. I hope you guys out there heard that, but that was great. But the thing about Chase and I, we go way back to Chicago. I met him in Chicago many years ago. Been on a couple of photo walks with him in Chicago. We've been cyber friends for a long, long time. And then last year at Street Photo, at the Street Photo Festival, Ken Walton, he showed up, and we it was like reconnecting with an old friend again. It was fantastic.
Chase was at Street Photo?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He was at Street Photo.
Okay. There were so many people there.
Yeah, he was with me on the Chinatown photo walk.
Awesome.
Yeah. So then later on we had him on as a guest. So it was fantastic. And there's another one I have to mention. Along those lines, was Rosa Wolf. She's a photographer from Rome, and she actually came to San Francisco to visit family. And I got
you played host, didn't you?
Yeah. I got a chance to show her around and everything. We went shooting. We had our little street photography group to meet up with her, and we just went out to the How Weird thing. It just kind of blew her mind because it gets crazy at that festival. I mean, when I say crazy, I mean crazy.
So you introduced her to San Francisco by taking her to the How Weird Festival.
Yeah, and she loved it, man. She loved it. Her camera couldn't stop clicking, I tell you.
Just an aside for everybody out there, you have to Google How Weird. Just go to Google, type in How Weird Festival, maybe comma San Francisco. I don't know if any other cities have it. And just go to the images section.
Yeah.
That'll tell you everything you need to know.
I guarantee you will be offended, but it's just a fun thing to shoot, and she shot it. And at the time, we were going to interview her while she was in San Francisco, but she got sick, lost her voice. So, but we wound up interviewing her later, when she was back in Rome. But I mean, that's one of those things where you connect with the guest off the mic. And that's fantastic. Off the live mic, because you had to sit with TC on the mic, but still. But off the live mic, fantastic.
It's funny that we both select. You got 2 for the price of 1 there. I didn't even get to.
That's why I wanted you to go first, because I was going to go one up on you. No, go ahead.
I see how it is. But it's interesting to me that you selected an episode that had that secondary segment, that addition, sorry to everybody out there listening that you didn't get a chance to be involved in those talks, but that goes to show how photography, how street photography, documentary photography, this industry is so much deeper than just work. It's a community that by all intents and purposes, it's a circle of people that you get to know, a network, so to speak, that just help build your inspiration and help expand your horizons and opportunities and knowledge. And I think by knowing people and going out to festivals or conferences, conventions like out of Chicago, Street Photo, Miami Street Photography Festival, the Brussels Street Photography Festival. I mean, we could go on. There's so many of these out there and going on year round that I think it's very important that we go to these things, that you, our listeners, I urge you to go, because it's going to be worth more to you, or at least equal terms to you, than a workshop.
That's right.
Because you can always, like, once you meet somebody and you get to know them, become friends with them, it becomes an extra contact you can reach out to and go, hey, I saw how you did this particular picture. How the fuck did you do that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna throw out another one real quick on that Jay Blakesburg.
Damn it,
both of us.
I haven't even gotten a second one yet.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
No. Go with Jay. Jay was gonna be my next one, actually.
Oh, is that right? Yeah. No. You go ahead on. You talk about Jay.
Oh no, that was just that episode. He was like the Energizer Bunny. That I love that episode because it was an easy one. We just kind of turned the key on for Jay, and he just went with it.
But the thing about it is, keep along that same vein of off the mic, we got to help him put up a show and an exhibition in San Francisco. So we got to know him off the mic. We have I know he told you this, but we have a standing invitation to go up to Marin and hang out with him. Go to his studio. So it's things like that could become my favorite episodes, where I can talk to people and interact with people off the mic. That's fantastic.
With Jay's episode, his background, the experience he has and the subject he's worked with, from Snoop Dogg, obviously the Grateful Dead, all the way across the board there. Yeah. Tom Waits, Santana, and he didn't just work with a lot of people. He again, it was at getting to know other artists and talking with them, but because he's a portrait artist at the same time as kind of a documentarian, that's the Grateful Dead side. He's been doing that for, what did he say, 20 some odd years?
Yeah,
30 years
like that. Yeah.
Actually 39 was his retrospective, 39 years.
Mm-hmm.
But but hearing him tell the stories of these people and what it was like working with them, dealing with them, in some cases, is amazing. And that was a hell of a show. And Jay had the ability to pack about 3 hours of content into about an hour and a half.
That's
which
right.
Was
yeah.
Unbelievable.
And you know, and the good part, you know, not what he told those stories on the show, and that was fantastic. But when you're sitting with him away from the show, you know, away from the mic, and sitting down and talking about these things, I mean, it's fascinating. It's just fascinating to listen to him, man. Yeah.
I want to talk about the Chase Stevens thing real quick.
Okay.
That episode, and I'm glad you brought that up as your favorite, because it was, I think, one of the most powerful episodes that we had throughout the year.
Yeah.
Emotionally powerful and
topical.
Very topical. And that type of experience is difficult to express, and we did our best to do so. And if our listeners out there, if you haven't heard the episode, we definitely recommend go and check that one out. We'll throw some links, obviously, into the show notes for it, or just go through our show list. We got quite a few up there. Or if you did listen to it, we hope that we were able to convey that feeling and emotion to you, and hope you're able to pull that out. What else? Oh, interesting situations, and just a little note I want to bring up is Rami Narula's episode.
Was that something?
That was it was a great episode. Rami is a fascinating person, and also I want to say congratulations on air to Rami for being inducted into In Public.
Yes, congratulations, Rami.
I know when we were recording, his wife was pregnant and she was actually due at that time. So I remember all of us sitting down and telling Rami, it's like, look, if we see your hand come up with the cell phone in it, just run away. We know why you're leaving. And we can restart this again. And we tried to reschedule, but Rami was like, no, I want to do it now. Which is a good point, because once the kid's born, then time becomes an illusion.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you don't know what's going on then, man.
Yeah, you get like brief moments of like 2 minutes here, 5 minutes there. So we figured, actually Rami is the one who figured that it would be best to try and like squeeze it in. And he surely did, because after we wrapped up that night, because he was another one like TC that was on the other side of the world, difficult schedule to try and like get in place. But he told me like a few days later that I think within 6 hours he got that call and was straight to the hospital, and his little one was born, you know, shortly thereafter, obviously.
Hey man, it wasn't that great.
That was insane.
And you can tell his attention was divided. You know, he was kind of,
it was.
He was talking to us, but then, you know, oh man, is this kid gonna come right in the middle of this? It's like,
I was surprised by how stoic he was, though, because I mean, he was able to talk articulately about his work and his background and so forth. I would have been a freaking wreck. I would have been fucking madness that whole time. There's no way I would have been able to focus on anything, but he did. I mean, it was laser focus. But every once in a while, you know, you'd see him look down at the cell phone.
Yep.
We all kind of pause for a second. It's like, is it? Oh, okay. We'll keep going.
Yeah, that was funny. That was great.
Yeah.
But hey, but, you know, talking about speaking, I don't know what you're going to talk about now, but I want to talk about the Street Photo Festival.
I do.
First, you got something?
Before we do that, I want to throw out one really interesting thing.
Go ahead.
One more last interesting thing, because that's what I seem to be stuck on. Steve Dissenoff. He was there at the end of the year. He was in our kind of like November, December period there. He was the gentleman that was instrumental in the development and foundation of the Daraja Academy in Kenya. And if our audience out there remembers this episode, he was talking about like it began as just a basic workshop, and it's just building for at-risk teenage girls, girls that were accepted into high school, accepted into high school but couldn't afford to go. So they created this workshop school, and then it expanded into programs, and then now it's the Daraja Academy. Anyway, my point being is Steve actually reached out to me, I think about a week or two ago, with an email, just letting me know that the 2017 Kenya National College Board, the scores, that they kind of rank all the kids. It's kind of like here in the States we have SATs, I guess, maybe, or something. I might be wrong in that, but it's kind of how they grade how well a school is doing. It actually scored higher than any other schools in the county.
Oh, man.
And that includes the actual like official schools or what have you, the ones that have always been there. It's like the base high schools, some of the high schools that the girls they're there at the Garage Academy because they couldn't go to it. But anyway, it was the highest scores, and that is amazing. And I think he also let me know that at any given time, there's about 130, 150 students on the grounds at any given moment. So
that's fantastic.
That's that's taking a camera, taking an idea, and taking a dream and making it real, and that's what we love to see. That's
right. I'm sorry. I think I missed that one because you had to do that solo, right?
Yes. Yeah. That was our one-on-one. You were on the East Coast during that one.
Yeah. That's a great story, isn't it?
Yeah, I do wish you were there, but it was a good one. Like you had brought up, Street Photo. We're going to move into the events here real quick. Yes, let's go ahead and do that. Let's just transition. Street Photo.
Oh man, that was our first live show.
It was, and you can tell if you go back and watch. But damn it, we did it good though.
Yeah, that's right. We sure did.
Yeah. The biggest surprise was it was our first live show. We were, a year and a half into this podcast at the time. We already gotten pretty good audience, but we weren't really sure what type of response we'd have. We had like 50, 60 people there that night.
Yeah.
And that was in San Francisco, the night that the Golden State Warriors could have clinched the championship. They didn't, unfortunately, but that's the night that they could have clinched and won the championship. We still had 60 people sitting in those seats.
I tell you, man, we packed the room when they saw that R.E. Casper was going to be on the show. They said, Steph Curry? Hell no. Let's go see R.E. Casper, man.
Oh,
we got to see Casper.
Flattery will get you everywhere, sir.
I know, man. That's why I said it. but yeah, that was crazy. It was a crazy night. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it was crazy. We started off. It was actually, I guess, StreetPX. When we do things, we don't do them lightly. We just kind of like jump into the deep end head first.
Yeah. See what happens.
So it was our first live show. We do 2 back to back. So you know what? We said, fuck it, let's do it. The first show was Renzi Ruiz, street photographer out of L.A.
Uh-huh.
Awesome photographer, and equally, if not a better person.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, throwing it out there. It's just an amazing person. But we'd had Renzi on once before, and you know, it was a great interview. It was great talk. But with this one, we got to talk a little bit more about, you know, recent times and so forth. And about halfway through, I threw a little curveball out there, and don't get me wrong, it was terrifying to do this, but I asked for somebody from the crowd. I think it was finalists that were at that were in Street Photo. Is that right?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. So I'd asked all the finalists to stand up, and when they did, I was like, okay, one of you come up here. We got a seat waiting for you. And everybody was like, oh, I don't know about this. and in my brain, I was thinking the same thing. I don't know about this. Yeah, when you don't have control over who's going to be sitting at the mic with you, that shit is scary.
I know. But you know what? I was eyeballing CJ Lucero, man.
Were you?
Yeah.
So you were instrumental in getting CJ up there.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I was instrumental, but I was looking at him.
Oh, well, thank God for you, because I mean,
he came up, he grabbed that mic like a champion, man. And he just told us stories. I mean, that guy was amazing. There on a live show. It was like he was waiting for this moment. He knew this was going to happen, man.
We couldn't shut him up. Our thoughts were we were going to, bring somebody up for like 5-10 minutes, and then we were going to, send them away and get somebody else up there. Yeah. But CJ, he was such a natural. We were like, well, piss on it. Let him talk for the.
That's right, man. And he was the thing is, he was so interesting, and he was just going on and talking. It was just a pleasure listening to this guy talk.
Yeah,
and it was like he made our job easier, and it was so much fun. having him up there on that thing. I'm glad you did that.
And that was a moment we could use it because there's no repeats, there's no redos or anything on live when you're recording live in front of an audience. You can't like sometimes with our shows are well, you heard it at the beginning of this episode, and this one we're gonna throw out there raw. But mouths just you get like peanut butter mouth, something just messes up, and you want to go back and redo that statement, and then obviously with the magic of editing, you can remove it. Not live, and CJ just rocked it out. Yeah,
that's right.
You get what you get, and we got lucky. And then following that show, we had a panel discussion with In Public. And
the Photo Collective,
the Photo Collective, yep. And that was, I think we had Blake Andrews, Aaron Berger, Jesse Marlowe, and Troy Holden, who was actually very new at that time. I think he had just been inducted like 2 weeks prior. And funny aside is Troy, he's a friend of ours. Obviously, he's a San Francisco photographer, very modest person, and I guess. You would say hates hearing himself speak. And what he did is, or I'd asked him once before to come on the show, and he was like, I don't want to do that. But then when this happened, I remember kind of like sneaking up to him at the exhibit prior to it, and I'm like, I told you I'd get you on.
He said, damn you,
right?
Casper.
Yeah, I was just waiting for a backhand, fuck off. But that was a lot of fun. It was trickier because working how we generally do here on StreetPX is 2-on-1. Me and Jim, we gang up on another photographer and just strip any stories we can out of them, just like making lemonade. But with this, we had 4 people, so we were actually outnumbered 4-2.
Yep.
And being live, being 4 people up there that we're trying to interview in a small amount of time and so forth. It's tricky. It was hard. I think that I would say that was probably our most challenging show.
I think so. Yeah. Because you never know how each one is going to react. They're just up there,
or if they're going to react.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. How much you had to pull out.
Yep. Because they're photographers. They're not broadcasters.
Yeah, and you can't edit out awkward moments when you're just live, man.
You just gotta roll with it.
Yeah, you just start sweating and say, okay, is this guy gonna answer? But no, it turned out great, man. It turned out great.
It's kind of like those things where what do they do during the political season when they're sitting with a group of people while they're watching like a debate. Oh, it's the debates, and everybody gets that little dial. It's like, I'm liking what's happening. I'm not liking what's happening.
Yeah,
I'm liking, So that's what I kind of felt like, and that's how you have to kind of look at it whenever you're doing a live show. Is you can't think about the whole episode being amazing. You have to think about it in are we getting better? Oh shit, we're losing it.
That's right. That was nerve-wracking. It turned out great.
It did turn out great, and we're definitely going to be doing that for 2018, and we'll be talking about our thoughts for 2018 here in just a little bit. But that's definitely something we're going to be doing. Outside of that, Street Photo too, we also had the photo walks and so forth, and it kind of comes back to what I was saying earlier about you have festivals and conventions and things like that are a great opportunity to go and meet like-minded people that you could sit down with and just begin a conversation as if you're old friends, just because you have a guaranteed common interest.
That's right. Because of course the ones you named. There was the festivals that you named out of Chicago is another good one when you talk about street photography, because you got Valerie Jardin, Marie Lagneau, and James Mayer. Michael, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
James Mayer.
Mayer. Yep. I mean, you got all these street guys that you could go out and talk to, interact with, and man, it's just fantastic.
Yeah.
So definitely try it if you can get to one of these street photo festivals or photography festivals that have a street or documentary component in it, and man, you never know who you're gonna meet.
One thing about out of Chicago, it is less a street photography festival. Right. How Street Photo is, or Brussels or Miami. It's just photography. It's like picking up a photography magazine. It's just a lot of different topics, a lot of different industries, all within the same that same vein. But it's massive. for one.
It's massive.
It's like 3 days.
Yep, and and they do actually feature street photography. That's the one aspect of photography that's very well represented. Street photography. Yeah. They bring in these street photographers from all over the world. The ones we mentioned, and they're there now. They like Casper said, there are other focuses. They had landscape and Lightroom and law. The law of photography. But street photography seems to be a really an integral component to that whole Out of Chicago platform.
Mm-hmm. Now, it does need to be said, to go to Out of Chicago is bloody expensive. So, yeah, I mean, if you're not from Chicago, if obviously you got to fly in. Tickets are usually, what are they, 200, 250?
2 to 300, something like that.
2 to 300. Yeah. I think usually around right now, January, February, they have kind of like that New Year's special. So if you are interested in going to Out of Chicago, right now is a good time to buy your ticket. It's not that the tickets sell out or anything. It's just that if you buy it now, you'll probably save $100.
Yeah. But it's worth it.
It is worth it.
I find it's worth it. Yeah. Because again, like I said, not only the, it's not only the courses that they offer, but it's the people that you meet. You get to meet these people, and build these contacts, and that's just as important as what you learn from the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's always who you know.
You said a name in there that I just want to kind of bring up real quick. James Mayer. A big apology to James from me, from Jim, straight to you, because James we recorded a show with James last year. This is our gut shot of 2017, and because with the great and the wonderful and the best of times, we also have those shitty moments. And James is out of New York. We had spoken with him a few times, kind of get an episode pulled together. We all sat down. We had a wonderful discussion.
Fantastic. Yeah.
That would probably be up there on my top 5 list for the year. But because of the downsides and the bullshit that you run into with electronics and trying to do this, and this kind of gives you a little insight into how difficult it is sometimes to do this show. We were recording, and when you're recording, you only have so much power as far as the track. Once it gets going, you can't just like keep telling people to stop to check on how it's sounding. And we were using a thing called Zencastr at the time. And this is not an indictment on Zencastr. For many, many people out there, hundreds, if not thousands of photographers rely on Zencastr to do their recording. It just doesn't work for us because we have a long-form show. Anybody out there that has been listening to StreetPX long enough knows that we don't screw around when it comes to time. Hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. We don't care. We will just keep on going, and Zencastr is not good with that. Usually about 20, 30 minutes in is about your best, and then you want to stop. So if you're thinking about using things like Zencastr, or I think there's like 2 other versions out there. The names escape me. I've never used them. But Caster, I think, is one. But anyway, those are good for half an hour. But when we recorded with James, we got done, wrapped up, thanked him. It was wonderful. I pulled all the tracks. Everybody sent me their audio, I pulled all the audio of Zencastr, threw it into Audition, hit play. It was good for like 5 minutes in, and then it went to hell because I think James's voice turned into like a chipmunk at that point. I knew something was wrong as soon as I saw, like, because when you put this into an editing program, you get the channels, like, think of it like layers in Photoshop. It's just audio layers. One's mine, one's Jim, one's our guest, James in this case. And I knew something was wrong because his audio track was half the size of me and Jim's. James is, oh, that's confusing.
It is.
But his was half the size of ours. His was showing like 45 minutes, and me and Jim's was like an hour and a half. I'm like, oh shit, something's wrong here. And I figured, okay, well, maybe it's just the tracking or something happened and it just sped it up and it recorded faster, and I can just expand it. No dice. About 10 minutes in, 5-10 minutes in, it switched to this kind of chipmunk sound. You can tell it just sped up the track real bad and got way offline. And then I extended it, but it was coming and going. So throughout the track, it would be chipmunky, and then it would be normal, and then it'd be chipmunky, and then it'd be normal. And there was no rhyme or reason to it, no pattern. Also, when it did sound normal, every like 3 seconds was a horrible pop and like garble and so forth. So it pretty much iced the entire episode. And I was devastated.
Because it was such a great episode. Yeah, you're right, man.
Yeah, it's an hour and a half of audio that, James took the time out of his day because he's very busy, just like all of us are. And he sat down and, bullshit with us for all this time and leave it to StreetPX, our side of things, to just completely drop the ball on it. So we do apologize, James, and we are going to get you in for another recording if you're still up for it. Yeah. If you'll have us.
But you know what? I am going to say one of the things that we did talk about on that recording, and what we will be going into depth when we finally grab him. He does these amazing street walks in New York City, and I'm gonna try to take advantage of one of those. Man, it's like I can't remember 3 hours, but he just takes you all through New York City doing street photography, and man, if you guys get a chance, check that out and go on it. I'm giving him a plug now. Maybe that'll soften him up a little bit to make him have him come on, But I definitely want to go on one of his street photography walks in New York City. New York City, I know you like it too. As a street photographer, it's a street photography haven. Yeah. I mean, that is, you are in heaven when you're a street photographer and you're in New York City. So I want to take advantage of it. And I think he also gives a lot about the history of the area that you're in. So it gives you a nice little flavor. You get that local flavor, and you have to love those kind of street walks.
Yeah, really, it's more than just the photographs. I'm glad you brought up that history part of it, because that's true. You learn about a city. It's like a city tour.
Right, exactly. And that enhances your photography. You know what to look for. You know what the flavor of the neighborhood, and you can capture that instead of just taking snapshots.
Exactly.
That's the thing. So, James, look out for me. I'm coming to New York and taking your shot. If you're listening, you might not be listening to us.
He's like, hell with these guys. They didn't even release my episode. Fuck them. Yeah. I don't blame you, but just know it was electronics. We didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah. 2017.
Moving on, Film Week. You weren't here for this one because you were again
back on the East Coast.
Back on the East Coast, but we did have Pete Rosas in, and we had Nick Mayo, two friends of the show and amazing photographers. And these guys were perfect for this because they're both film aficionados. I think they bleed developer. I know Pete definitely does, at least recent, because he's building a dark room in his back, I think in his backyard, converting a shed into a dark room. So we might have to do a little special. Pete, you don't know this yet, but now, maybe you do now. I'm coming for you. I may get that thing fixed up. We're gonna have to do a big feature on it. But that was a great Film Week. This is kind of the second time we've done it, and it was quite delayed this time because that's how shit goes with us.
That's right.
But if you're still listening and you're still one of our audience, then you can appreciate that. But that was interesting because we had to record. Pete was sitting in front of me, like right here, and he was on his laptop. I was on my laptop, and we have Comcast here, which isn't the greatest. And trying to record two computers with mics was difficult. So I think we ended up using one singular mic in the middle of us that was off camera, and then had the laptops just so you could see us. That was tricky.
Yeah.
But it was amazing talk. It was all things analog. And then we also obviously had the announcement for the Secret Print Exchange. Mm-hmm. And we had a number of contests, which we had a lot of great winners for. A lot of great prints went out. But the Secret Print Exchange, that has been wonderful. I think we had like 45 or 50 people participate in this one. And I think if you're listening out there right now, and obviously the show will go up today, there's only a handful, I think 8 or so people that we're still coordinating getting the prints to. I think a couple of shipping errors maybe, but nevertheless, that's what we're here for, is to make sure everybody out there gets a print. And some people got more than a print. I think we had one of our participants received a book.
Yeah.
That was fucking amazing. I think a couple
along
others,
with the print, yeah.
Along with the print, yeah. You have to hit the minimum. The print, that's all. That's the main thing. That's in our rules. It's got to be at least an 8x10 print. That's the point of the exercise. But others add some extras. I think I added. I just filled an envelope full of prints because I got tons of them here, and I love printing. But others have dropped in books. They dropped in zines. I think one or two of our guests, like, they have their own kind of like social media presence or what have you, or show, and then they dropped in some merchandise, things like that. It's awesome to see what people are willing to add into the package.
Amazing. God.
And you got, have you, actually, speaking of, are you one of our 8 or so that are still waiting on your package?
Yep.
You are? Okay, that's all right. It will come, I'm sure. I will make sure of that. Yeah. And I know you sent yours out and everything, so we're good there. But yeah, Film Week, we and the Secret Print Exchange, these are 2 activities we're definitely going to do this year. So if you missed out on the contest or listening in on that show live, we're going to do it again. We're going to have Nick Mayo in again. Obviously, we're going to have a proper interview with Nick, and then Secret Print Exchange at the end of the year next holiday.
Cool. Can't wait.
Yes. Let me see. What else is on our docket here? Oh, I wanted to say, let's see. Well, since we're talking about things for 2018, we might as well bring up what we're doing, what we're looking at doing for 2018. Yeah. Like we said, street photo, that's a given. We're definitely, StreetPX is always going to be there to help and assist and do what we can to help Ken make that an awesome festival.
And that's among in the first weeks of June, somewhere around there. So everybody look out for that.
Yep. So yeah, definitely get your tickets now to come to San Francisco. It's, like Jim said, that first kind of week or two of June. And I think I feel the vibrations in the air. I have a feeling that the dates and information will start being announced here soon too. So keep an eye on our link, streetpx.com. We'll definitely update, and also at streetphoto.org. Is it?
I think so.
I'm gonna have to think about that one. I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember either. It's been a while since I looked at that site.
Sounds like somebody is making a margarita over there.
Oh God! Yeah,
at your place?
It's the landscape people.
Landscapers. Yeah. Oh, right. Well, that's all right. We'll be wrapping up here momentarily. Yeah. Things we run into live.
We'll just say it's the landscapers. We'll just say they're making margaritas.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Post show margaritas, man. That'll work.
I wish I was down there with you if that's the case. Obviously, more live episodes, more live shows. We're going to be doing another live event there at Street Photo. We've also been in talks with Catchlight. It's an amazing group over in San Francisco, but they're actually global. Catchlight.io. We've been talking with their San Francisco wing about doing some activities together, doing maybe a live show down at their location in San Francisco here this summer. So keep an eye out for that. I'm looking forward to working with them.
Can you just give us a little bit of background on what Catchlight is, really?
Catchlight is an organization that helps push and assist documentary photographers, photographers of the human interest story. They help artists bring their projects to light. So, for instance, they have a Catchlight Fellowship going on right now. The application process is open until I think January 30th, and I think they select 2 or 3 fellows, and they get a finite amount of money. And we're not talking like $100 or $500. We're talking tens of thousands.
Serious money, man.
Serious money to a point. If any of our listeners out there who have worked on documentaries before are probably thinking to themselves, tens of thousands is nice. But you know, some projects take more than that. But that's what they're there for, is to assist and bring that voice and kind of put a megaphone in front of it. They have like photographers that are associated with Catchlight, and they help them build networks and get to locations. They have their own kind of internal workshops and discussions and events to gain more inspiration, get better at, or make their documentary work better, their series, like photography series. And it's mostly still photography, but they don't, object to video as well. Mm-hmm. I think that's about all I can say about it. More than that, you could just go over to catchlight.io.
Right.
And exactly. There's more information there, as well as the application for the fellowship. So if you're a photographer out there looking to build, or you're already in process with a documentary, with a project, or if you're thinking about doing one, this is a great opportunity. And I know many people out there saying, well, I'll never make it. They'll never select my application. You'll never know unless you try.
You got to get in the game. You got to get in the game. I am so looking forward to a collaboration with StreetPX and Catchlight. Yeah. This is going to be great for 2018.
Yeah, and they're truly there to appreciate the art and help the artist. It's not a money grab kind of place or anything. It's pure support.
Yes, they want to promote socially conscious projects, and that's their goal. That's their goal. So check them out.
Speaking of support, I just want to kind of note something real quick. Our Patreon. We've had Patreon now for a little over a year. We started it at the end of 2016, and Patreon is kind of like Kickstarter or Indiegogo or what have you. It's an online service that people out there, like for instance for us being a podcast, our audience can contribute to the show. And that can be, $1 a month, $5 a month, what have you. It's kind of like a subscription service, but it's crowdfunding in that vein. But I wanted to bring this up because over the course of 2017, our Patreon has brought us enough money to invest in 2 new mics and a new editing system for our audio, which if you're looking here, see this here, this is Audio Technica. It's a good mic. This is an ATR 2100. And we have, I think, a whole bunch of them sitting around here, 3 or 4 of them. They're cheap mics though. They're good mics, but they're cheap mics, and cheap in regards to they sometimes don't last very long. And when I say I've got a handful of them, I've got like 1 or 2 back here that are just dead in the water. And I know there's like a lifetime warranty and stuff, but it's kind of a pain in the ass to deal with. What we're doing is I'm getting a couple of brand new mics for our system here that are, as they would say, broadcasting mics. Radio studio kind of mics, and you guys out there have helped us do that with Patreon, and that's what we say is anything that you give to us through Patreon or through our t-shirt, buying our t-shirts or merchandise that way, all goes back into the show and makes us sound better and work better, easier, and maybe continue StreetPX over throughout 2018 into 2019. And who knows, I may be still talking to a mic as I'm going down on the hospital bed.
Yeah, I'll be dead long before then. So,
hey, you're the one who found the fountain of youth. Don't give me that shit.
I don't know, man. I'm still old enough to be your father. So, hey, let's put this in perspective.
This is true.
Wait a minute, I'm older than your father. I forgot.
I'd say after 30, age is kind of just a number at that point, because honestly,
that's true.
Most people out there are probably listening to this podcast right now. If you go to YouTube, you can watch the video of me and Jim talking. If you go to this video and look, right now, I'm the one that looks 60. I mean, I got just the same amount of gray going on here in this like weird freaking logger lumberjack beard, but you don't have the bags going. Yeah, you look so much better than I do. I'm jealous, man.
No. I got the bags going. You got a lumberjack beard. I got an old man scraggly. At least you got a lumberjack beard.
That's true. It took me 6 months to grow this damn thing. I ain't get rid of it for a little while. beards don't grow well when you got a lot of kind of Native American history. But you know, I did it.
Yeah.
Pulled it together. I don't look as mangy as I did a few months back. Anyway, yes. So there's that. I just wanted to bring that up. And if you do want to become a contributor and help us continue to expand our and better our equipment, go to patreon.com/StreetPX.
There you go.
What else? What else?
We're going to be looking for some more. Looking forward to some more great guests. Some who are already in the can and just ready to be released.
Yep,
and
we
so
started recording
I can't wait.
in advance.
Yes,
Summerstein.
Yeah, I don't want to give much away.
I don't want to either, but I have a feeling when we do our 2018 recap, this episode will be talked about.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, people.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything.
Stephen Summerstein. Just be on the lookout for that. Just
Google it. It's 1M Summerstein, Stephen Summerstein. Just Google, and you'll get a better idea. Stephen Summerstein, photographer, and kind of the first responses you see pop up, the first pictures you see pop up, that is the person we're talking about. So
that's right.
That I want to talk more
soon.
about that.
Yeah, coming up soon. Not gonna say anything else.
Yep, and the next episode is with Tracy Habinich.
That's right.
Yes,
out of Austin, Texas.
And when I said the name, I left the R off.
There you go.
I had to bring it up because I'm proud of that, because her name just, for some reason, it feels like it requires an R in it, and that's so dumb of me.
Well, no, because she said everybody does that. They call her Habernich, but it's Habinich.
Yeah, and it's just the way words work.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but Habernich, we're having her in. She had a great talk. She's actually a perfect example, and this leads me to a really great thing I want to bring up. She's a up-and-coming street photographer, so she's not established. She's not, heavily experienced or anything like that, but that's okay. With our show here and we interview people, we're not looking for the best of the best or the most well-established. We are, yeah.
But that's not all. That's not the whole thing.
No, we don't want any.
That's not the community. That's not the whole community.
It's not the whole community. I mean, don't get me wrong. We don't want to talk to shitty photographers, of which I'm sure there are those out there. I'm not gonna do any indictments. But the thing about it is even if you're new to the game, that's okay. Don't think that you can go out and teach a workshop or any shit like that. But you can definitely talk about the art and talk about what brought you to the shooting street photography or documentary photography or what have you. And that's what this episode's going to be. Since she's new blood into it, it's going to be a unique talk because of that lack of experience, but not in a negative. There's a certain freshness to it,
and there are a lot of listeners out there who are in the same position, and who can relate to that, and a lot of experienced shooters who were in that position and can relate to that. So yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be fantastic.
And that show will be going live next week. Okay. So this is kind of our interim show, and then that one's gonna happen next week, and we might actually do more of these kind of episodes too. Sorry about that noise. My dog just dived off the chair. I guess he didn't want to be where he was anymore. But this is something we might do a little bit more often, is not recapping on the weeks, but just bullshitting about.
Yeah, something comes up. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. We're kind of coming up to the end here, but I did want to bring up one thing, and then Jim, I'm not sure if you had something else, but for 2017, kind of recapping on some things, I wanted to bring up what my favorite piece of gear that I got was. And it snuck in right at the end. And I just wanted to show this. This is a heavily taped up Godox TT350F, a little flash. And the reason I bring this up is because I've been doing more flash photography in the street. It's not usually my jam, but it's been a lot of fun. Also, it definitely helps break you through that fear, because if you can shoot somebody on the street using a flash, then without a flash is going to be second nature.
That's right. You can do anything, man. If you could shoot somebody with a flash out there.
But I bring this little thing up because it is is so handy. It's tiny for one. You can see here, I've got baseball mitt-like hands, but as you can see, I can hold it very easily, and I'm coming off of using the old Young Yo's, YN 560s or something, and those things are massive, big speed light, honking some bitches. But this thing here, it's tiny. It's TTL wireless, because you can get the little wireless thing here, and you can see I tape my stuff up because my equipment is for working, not for pretty sitting on a shelf. Yeah. I beat the hell out of my equipment, so I throw tape on there to try and like extend its life. But this is what I use, and what's great is I don't have to use a wire. I don't have that whole wire getting in front of my rangefinder and so forth. And also too, if I want to if I run into somebody that is a really cool street portrait or something, I always keep a little micro tripod with me, and I don't have one around. But what's cool is I can actually set this up on like a sunny day and put it behind him, because it's high speed sync up to like 1/8,000th of a second or more. I don't know. I haven't gotten that deep into it, but I can put it on a little tripod behind them, and then now I got like a little hair light or a field light or something that doesn't necessarily have to be on my hand. In my hand, I can put it 20, 30 feet away and still be able to use it. Really, really, really handy. So I know this isn't, we don't usually talk about gear, but this little damn thing makes me giddy.
Yeah,
I had to bring it up.
Interested. You got me interested.
Yeah, and the cool thing is it's not like, $500 like the damn SB900s or what have you. This little bugger was $80, and this was $40. This is the transceiver. And if you get two of these, this is also a transceiver, so you don't really need this. You can put this on your camera and then a second one of these elsewhere, or any other Godox system flash, and it works the same way. It'll send the signal and do its thing.
Cool.
But that's mine. Jim, do you have any equipment that you were very excited to pick up last year?
Good story, because I did put down a deposit at a local store here, or a local store in San Francisco, for that big honking Nikon D850. Man, I had to have it.
That's a street photographer camera, if I ever heard.
Now I can't use it for my street photography. Although actually, it might be even better.
You do. I bet you will.
Yeah, I probably will. I probably will. But I put the deposit down, I think mid-November. And I was dying to get it. So they said, oh, yeah, maybe maybe after Christmas, maybe January, it'll finally come in. So I said, fine. Turns out.
And you ordered this. And you ordered this where? I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
From Sammy's.
Okay.
From Sammy's in San Francisco.
So it's not mail order, it's a pickup situation.
No, it's a pickup situation, yeah. So they said they will call me when it gets in. They said probably after Christmas, somewhere in January. So I'm waiting, and it comes to mid-January a few days ago. I said, okay, I'm gonna go in just to see if they have any updates on when these things are coming in. So I go in there, and they said, oh yeah, we've been calling you since a month ago to come get this thing. I almost went nuts. I said, I could have had this thing they said they've been calling me, and I don't remember getting a call, but they said they've been calling me. So they went back and got it. And so it's technically an acquisition from 2017, but I didn't get it until a few days ago in 2018.
I think that fits. I think that,
yeah.
Technically,
I think so.
You bought it in 2017.
And I tell you, it is sweet. I've used it a couple of times, not on the street, but for some event type work, or doing a little documentary work in low light situations, and it's fantastic.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, because you also do landscape work.
Yeah,
I know you've been working with dance troupes here recently, doing event work.
Doing some theater groups and everything. And I used it. The only time I've been able to use it was to shoot a rehearsal. Yeah, and oh man, it was in a tricky lighting situation, and it was fantastic. That thing is a beast.
Is there anything that sticks out that you like? What are you coming from? What was your previous camera?
I was using the D800E.
Okay, the 800.
Yeah,
okay,
so that's a great camera, but this is a little step up. You get greater resolution because it's 46 megapixels. And it's it's not a it's not a huge difference, but it's very easy to hold, easy to carry.
I did like the build quality on that thing.
Oh yeah, when you run away with it when I gave it to you.
Yeah. You're about to pull it. You're about to have a flashback to your football years, tackle my ass into the fence.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, and the click, the shutter, clicking that shutter is just so smooth. Much smoother than the D800, because the D800, when you click that, everybody knows you took a shot.
Oh, so it's like the old Minolta cameras. Sounds like somebody cocking a gun.
Yeah. This is just a lot different. This is a lot quieter. So I said, oh man, this is great.
Nice. Did you buy a new hard drive to go along with that thing?
Not yet, but
what'd you say? 40 how many megapixels?
46.
Oh God, how big are each file?
Around 8,000. 8,000 by something.
Oh, no, I meant like megabytes.
Oh, I don't know about the megabytes.
Okay, because I know I'm sitting at Fuji's are like 50 at 24 megapixels, so you're probably closer up to the 100 megabytes.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm gonna look at that and check and see.
Which that actually creates a question. Are you? And I'm not sure if I ever asked you this before. Do you delete or are you a hoarder?
I try to delete when I can.
Oh, so you do delete.
I do try to delete. Yeah, I do.
You see, I'm so paranoid that I've got 10 years of photography, all the best, as well as all the knee and butt shots and clicks of the ground. I just keep everything. And
do you?
I'll tell you why. I know we're short on time here, but there's a reason for it. Is after I graduated high school, as I was going to college, there was a moment in between where the laptop I had, because I did a lot of photography when I was younger too, nothing with an intent, but I built my chops off of that, and I lost it all.
Oh,
like
no.
3-4 years worth of photos, all of it gone, including a New Orleans trip right after Katrina. I documented New Orleans for about a week.
Yeah.
And to this day, I still have those pictures, but they are 600 by 400 pixels, because I had posted them all onto Facebook when Facebook was in its infancy stage there, and it was accepting pictures, but they were all tiny. That's how I recover the pictures. So I can access them just enough to be pissed off. Wow. It's like what could have been. I don't know. I might still make something out of those pictures someday anyway. But because of that situation, and I've done a couple of blog posts showing how, much more information you can pull from a RAW file as compared to a JPEG. And that was using a junk picture, a picture that was just off the ground or what have you, it worked out. So, and I've had situations where I went back and I found pictures that were otherwise dark, and because I'm constantly going back in my archives and just kind of looking, seeing if there's anything I missed, because I find stuff. And I ran across a couple of them that were just dark as night. I'm like, what the hell is this? What's the, I know I underexposed it, but I bring up the exposure and boom, it's a picture of my brother barbecuing. And my brother passed away a few years back. And this was a picture just before he had passed away. And I would have never had it if I would have deleted the thing as I usually do. So it's these little reasons. And every single year, as the new year, I'm like, oh, I am sorry. I am so sorry.
Travis.
Just put something at the wall near where he's at, and then maybe it can stop him. But anyway, it's those little things like that each year I'm like, okay, I'm going to delete stuff this year and try and like save some space. And then I run across another picture that would otherwise have been trashed, and it was amazing, and then I stop myself from deleting again. So it's this constant cycle.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm rambling about something that's kind of irrelevant. Let us know. Actually, you know what? Write us. Send us an email. What was your favorite episode from StreetPX over the course of 2017? What was your favorite gear acquisition that year? Because why not? It's if you're already messaging us, and let us know if you're a deleter or if you're a hoarder like me. So me and Jim, we're here for both sides of that argument.
That's right. Yep.
And we may have a longer discussion than that. But email us at contact@streetpx.com. Or join us over at the StreetPX Lounge. But we want to hear from you. We want to learn which episodes you enjoyed, and that's pretty much. That's pretty much all I've got. Oh, and I know Jim usually brings this up in some episodes, but if you are a photographer, a street photographer, a documentary photographer, a photojournalist, what have you, if this is your daily activity and you want to talk about it, contact us as well. Contact at StreetPX.com. We want to add you to our escalation list and get you in here in the studio or on the mic and talk to you, find out more about your background and your work. So don't be scared.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, by all means, do it.
Yep, we don't know what the hell we're doing, so you can't be any worse when you get on the mic with us.
We made it this far, so yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we made it this far. We ain't been kicked off. We haven't lost our hosting or anything like that. And you people are still listening to us, so we must be doing something right. Or you just like watching a train wreck in real time. It depends.
That's right. Cool.
Yeah, that's all I've got. Jim, do you have anything you wanted to add?
Nope. We'll wrap it up.
All right, we'll wrap it up. So definitely a big thank you to everybody. Jim, where can we find out more? Where's your online home?
My online home is, as always, jimwatkinsphoto.com, and all my links to social platforms are right there.
Awesome. And you can find out more about me at recasper.com. You can also follow me on Instagram at recasperphoto. But more importantly, go to streetpx.com. That is our podcast's home there on the internets, where you're going to find all of our previous episodes. You can comment on those episodes. All of our show notes are in there. So there's a slew of links to really great artists to be inspired by. We got links on there for books. For instance, one like this one. Almost True.
Steve Bowman's book, yes.
Steve Bowman's book, which I'm going to give you a little teaser here. Nope. No, I'm kidding. I'm gonna show off. Yeah, ain't that pretty? Look at that. I'm gonna do one more because I'm generous like that.
This is for you live. People who are on here live. Yeah.
Yep. If you're not watching this live, then too bad. Go to YouTube.
Yep, that's too bad.
But this book is still for sale. We have a link on the front page, or kind of bottom right-hand corner, for Almost True. This is available. I think it's like $55. Get it. This is amazing, and it's built amazing. I love the way that it's F8 Books. That's actually Stephen Bowman's own kind of publishing company. F8, right there.
Yep.
And it's so exquisitely made. Actually, one funny thing is the text reminds me of those stickers that were really big in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s. You remember that? Where it was kind of like holographic?
Yeah.
Yeah, so nice little touch there, Steve. I like that. But it's great. Great book. There's also a link on there for From the Hip. Scott Strazzanti is another one of our past guests.
That's right.
I'm going to be adding a link for this one, Common Ground. This is another one of Scott's books. This is more documentary in style, following a family's kind of like life and then loss, and then the changing nature of a community. And then last but not least, another one of my favorite acquisitions this year.
Ah, yes.
Hippie Chick. You were talking about Jay Blakesberg earlier.
Jay Blakesberg, yeah.
It's a phenomenal book. So we got a link coming for this one soon. But that's what you can find over at StreetPX. You also have T-shirts. Not this one. I'm kind of geeking out today with my Star Trek and Star Wars Firefly kind of shirt going on. But we have StreetPX T-shirts, about 30 different camera designs, everything from Minoltas to Leicas to I think we got a Connie Omega on there that looks like something out of a sci-fi film. But we just reduced the cost for 2018. I think each of the shirts are now about $1 or $2 cheaper. And we also offer different promotion codes too. So just keep an eye at StreetPX Lounge or on the website for specials, promotions for free shipping, things like that. And Patreon.com/StreetPX. If you want to be a contributor, we would love to have you. Everything that you give us, either through the shirts or Patreon, like we said a while ago, goes back into these mics and our bandwidth in the computer there. And reviews. Drop us a review on iTunes. We'd love you. Cool.
There you go.
I think that's all I got, buddy. Want to wrap this one up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up, man.
All right. It's been a joy. Thank you all for listening to us throughout 2017. Thank you so much for being a part of StreetPX Nation. And we look forward to talking at you more over the course of 2018. We got so much in store. It's going to be a hell of a year.
I'm so looking forward to it. Can't wait.
Yep. Cool. All right, everybody out there. Goodbye, and we'll talk to you next week.
Goodbye, folks.